morning, I'm Cyril Sando.
Good morning, I'm Céline Reval-Dumas. Welcome to the morning news. This is Mj1 News, the most trusted name in news from Paris.
From international to local news, from live updates to the expert opinions, covering all that is happening around us in this news edition. Now, on to our top stories this hour.
The new Prime Minister of Greece says he will give his all to protect the interests of the Greek people.
The Mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, has launched a tougher campaign to tackle vehicle fumes and toxic emissions.
And Valentine's Day celebration in Paris. Are they still important? Do couples still care?
Now on to our top stories. We start in Greece. Alexis Tsipras, leader of the Syriza anti-austerity party, says he will give his all to protect his interests of the Greek people. The Greek government is currently in negotiations with the European Union over its massive debt. In Paris, many thousands of expatriate Greeks have been following developments back home closely, as Jean Travers and Margot Lady-Ray now report.
We went to Hellenic Community Center to find out their feedback regarding the public vote for Syriza in Greece.
We have followed this campaign very closely, but we have felt very frustrated. Primarily because the Greek diaspora has been asking for the right to vote for a very long time now. We are perhaps one of a few countries in Europe where we can't vote for elections in our home country, in our host country. Today, people are hungry, are cold, the schools aren't heated, they don't have social security. There is so much misery. They may have some properties, but today these properties don't bring any profit anymore. With all due respect for Mr. Mélenchon, he's talking about France, which is a country with different needs. Greece has different needs. There are landowners in Greece, and today these landowners are being taxed for things they were not being taxed for 4 or 5 years ago. They don't have the money to do so. That's not possible.
I believe that Tsipras is a very good politician. He knows when to take a step back if he sees that he's in trouble. So, what's also interesting is how Tsipras is going to handle things like discussions with Angela Merkel, for example. That interests me.
And they actually pointed a gun at the Greeks' head. Not the government. We don't care about the government. It was at the Greeks' head. They are the one who bought properties, who bought cars, apartments, holiday homes in the countryside. Now, they are being taxed. But no one ever told them that they would be taxed. Someday we may actually have to thank Greece for kicking a bit in things that were well settled, to make them change.
The Greek community is now expecting good results for the country as well as for its people, but they still give Alexis Tsipras time for change. The Syriza party election also show a rupture with the German model's domination in Europe.
How the new civic service might look like? Well, Manuel Valls decided recently to open a debate on this controversial issue. Our Mj1 News reporter Juliette Bassin and Pauline Benoit have been finding out what young people think.
In 1997, Jacques Chirac's desire was to set up a more efficient and less costly modern army. Therefore, he officially suspended in 1997 the military service that was introduced with the Jourdan law. The question of re-establishing such a service came back in the political agenda after the violent attacks that took place earlier this year within the French capital. Numerous political figures are now in the process of preparing law proposals in favor of a new mandatory national and civic service. Such a civic service become mandatory again in France? We meet with young, foreign and French students to gather their opinion on the subject, sometimes really different.
I am for the military service because it helps young people. At least it will keep them off the streets, learn them to live, respect the others. Yes, I'm totally for.
Military for men, civic for women. To give them a frame, moral, civic.
I entirely support it. I think it's a good school, very formative. When we hear the older stories who made the military service, everybody tells that it's a good experience. Something which suited them. Today, I think it's a good solution for many of us. Now it's not practicable. I think that society won't accept. So I think it's not possible. It's too expensive.
If they brought back the military service in France, I would be against, because I think times have changed and it's just not something that's necessary anymore. We've come a long way from that, and there are already enough military forces.
I am for the military service because we need to defend ourselves against all the terrorism that's occurring in the world. As we saw recently, the Charlie Hebdo attacks, we need the military to protect us and everything. And this stuff's going to keep happening, so we need to be ready to defend ourselves against all these bad people in the world.
French people seem to agree with a return to civic service, shorter than military service, which is not always the case for foreigners. François Hollande made his choice. Indeed, he announced in his last press conference in January that a civic service will last 3 months, will be soon set up.
After the two recent terrorist attacks in Paris and anti-terror demonstrations in France remains on high alert. Heavily armed soldiers and police officers are stationed at key points in the French capital. Schools and universities are also no exception to this. We have our special correspondent, Sarah Varney, joining us live. Good morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Cyril.
Sarah, what is your location and can you update us on the latest security measures?
I'm from the ISCPA campus in Paris. Here, the security guards are carrying out a search on all the students, in fact, on all who enter the campus. As you can see, the security guards are asking the students their students' ID cards, and they check their bags. Now I'm with one of the students. What do you think about this security measure?
I'm going to be completely honest with you. It really annoys me in the morning because basically every time when I come to school, like, I am so tired and I don't really think about taking my card with me, and every time I forget it, they just take me to stay here for 10 or 15 minutes, and I don't really see why it is useful to just ask people their cards and that's it.
Okay. Yeah. Most students feel the same, Cyril.
Okay, Sarah, do you know exactly how long these security measures will last?
Well, we really don't know how long this security measure will remain here. According to the intelligence reports, we believe that this may remain at least another month.
Thank you. That was Sarah Varney with the live updates. Charlie is not dead. That's a message that Gerard Biard, a Charlie Hebdo journalist, emphasized during a debate earlier in February organized by the National Trade Union of Journalists. As part of this event, journalists and others gathered to watch Daniel Lecon's documentary selected in 2008 on the Cannes Film Festival. The film, called It's Difficult to Be Loved by Dummies, is a view of earlier controversial Charlie Hebdo caricature. During the debate that followed the documentary, Gerard Biard talked about the future of the magazine.
At least, I hope that what Charlie Hebdo represented, and people who died in this attack, it will survive, and their memory will survive.
In local news, the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, has launched a tougher campaign to tackle vehicle fumes and toxic emissions. With pollution rising to record levels, the new measures aim to dramatically increase the quality of air in the French capital. But not everyone is happy. Mj1 correspondents Inès Daif and Diane Perper have more.
Council of Paris adopted Monday the anti-pollution plan presented by Mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo. It intends to bring the capital as a low pollutant gas emission area. This measure aims to ban two-wheelers, which are produced before 2000. More than 3,000 bikers demonstrated on Sunday to express their discontent.
The problem is that authorities are talking about fine particles produced by diesel vehicles, but no one of two wheels or running with diesel engine. It is going really wrong.
Soon, one day, only the new motorbikes will be allowed to run within the city. It is to say the less than 5 years old vehicles. Actually, a majority of motorbikes present today won't be allowed to run within Paris in a very short time, and it's very regrettable.
The action kicked on Monday morning, Place du Châtelet.
We are here because Anne Hidalgo and Council of Paris are making a confusion between the two-wheelers and cars speaking about fire particle emission. They must consider the big advantage offered by the two-wheelers regarding traffic, fluidness, parking and space.
The plan was finally adopted with a large majority by Council of Paris on Monday.
Joining me now, Alexis Lackey, a journalist specialist on the environment. Hi, Alexis, welcome.
Hello, Céline.
Where does the pollution come from in Paris?
So, Céline, the pollution in Paris is mainly caused by the road traffic, who represent more than 50% of the carbon dioxide emissions and more than one-third of the greenhouse gas emissions. Then comes residential and the service sector, representing almost 30% of this pollution. Actually, most of the human activity are harmful for our environment, especially in big cities like Paris.
And what are the consequences of this activity on the environment?
First of all, living in a polluted city can be really unhealthy for its inhabitants. It increases the risk of developing lung cancers or pneumonia. But the main consequences is the global warming, whose impacts involve level sea rising of almost 1 meter due to an increase of the average temperature of 4 degrees in the next 100 years.
In Paris, the new mayor Anne Hidalgo is fighting pollution and has introduced a project approved by the council earlier in February. What are the details of Anne Hidalgo's plan?
So the details are that from July 2015, the buses and heavyweight vehicles registered before October 2001 will be banished from the streets of Paris. Then, from July 2016, all cars registered before October 1997 and two-wheels vehicles registered before 2000 will be banished. Then, from 2017 to 2020, the prohibition will be extended to more recent vehicles, diesel vehicles dated from 2001 to 2011. In the same time, proceedings will be taken to favor the use of clean transports. People who would renounce their polluting vehicle will have access to public transport and annual Vélib bicycle service for free, and a cheaper alternative to the Autolib car service. The decision also lays down the opportunity for young drivers to have a half-priced Autolib subscription and a €50 prepaid credit offer. For professionals, a help of 50% will be accorded by the government for acquiring electric or gas vehicles for a price who doesn't exceed €9,000.
Well, thank you, Alexis.
On staying with the environment news, the Sea Shepherd project aims to stop poaching of whales in oceans around the world. The organization works closely with Greenpeace and as Hugo Roblin and Elodie Satou now explain as one of its ships paid a visit to Paris recently.
The smallest and the fastest ship of the Sea Shepherd's fleet was moored in Paris until February 11 as part of an awareness campaign to protect marine wildlife. The crew welcomed visitors for a free tour of the ship, which is the only one of the fleet able to navigate under the Seine bridges. During the visit, people had the opportunity to discover the NGO, created and run by Paul Watson, and the life of these modern-day pirates, which have navigated all around the world and have participated to many anti-whaling campaigns. His name is Brigitte Bardot, in honor of the long friendship between Paul Watson and Brigitte Bardot. You all have seen the picture of Brigitte Bardot with the baby seal on the ice floe. She went with Paul Watson on this operation. Sea Shepherd has already sunk boats in the past. But these boats were illegal. And we were sure that there was no more people on the boat. Plus, it was inside the harbor. It was not dangerous. Sea Shepherd leads actions to protect marine wildlife. The operations of the NGO have included interdiction against commercial fishing, shark poaching, seal hunting, and whaling. I think that their actions are very interesting. Nature and citizens are concerned, so that our children and grandchildren know what they await them. As Paul Watson said, if you live by the sea, the earth will die. It will be a slaughter. For our children and grandchildren in the future, it will be a disastrous. Me, I think that humans must start to react and become aware of the future, because the future is very important. Now, the Brigitte Bardot is going to Germany to sensibilize the Germans. After that, we'll go back to the Greenland in order to find the poachers so that the rest of the fleet can engage collision.
Celebration took place around the world in memory of the liberation of Auschwitz concentration camp 70 years ago. An exhibition in Paris reminding visitors the horror that took place in Poland. Antoine Després and Camille Hazard were present and spoke to those who were there to visit the memorial.
On the 27th of January was celebrated the 70th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau, the famous Polish concentration camp. In Paris, this event was also celebrated in the Memorial de la Shoah, where will be held an exceptional exhibition until the 16th of February about the liberation of this camp. A good way to learn history and never forget.
It's hard to express a feeling about that, but it is a good thing to celebrate the remembrance. It is essential to do this, but the most important thing is to know the history. Everybody who deals with the subject agrees with this simple idea. So people have to remember and especially learn history.
Archives images, exclusive videos or old objects coming directly from Auschwitz, all is organized to show in a realistic way how were the concentration camps to realize their horror, which is sometimes ignored by the young generation.
Only in our class there are still people who doesn't feel concerned by this kind of atrocities, and I find that shocking to see people losing interest in the history.
We should have more school outings in this type of place and also to view more documentaries.
This anniversary was also celebrated all around the world. It was Antoine Després for Mj1 News in Paris. Many ceremonies had places in Israel, in France and in Poland. In Auschwitz, François Hollande, Angela Merkel and the main European heads of state were present to pay a tribute to the victims. Survivors also organized their own ceremony inside the camp, which ended with a silent march. In Poland, as in Paris, time goes by, but the fight against anti-Semitism is still the same, to never see it again.
An exhibition of the work of 43 budding photographers from around Europe is proving a great hit with the public in Paris. The show, Circulation, is being held at the Parc de Bagatelle at Saint-Quatre Cultural Center. Our video journalist, Julie Galeski, visited the exhibition and has sent us these panoramic views of the event. This show, which is in its 4th year, is being organized by FETART, which focuses on bringing together a photographic dialogue about Europe.
Valentine's Day is just around the corner, but is this celebration still close to people's hearts? Mj1 News reporter Emmanuel Rupier and Rémi Nani went to see if people still use Valentine's Day to declare their love.
Hi everybody, today we are celebrating love.
She doesn't love me, no she don't love me no more. She hates my company, yes she don't love me no more. I tried to get her up out of my head, left my bags at the door. She screams.
My craziest comment, it was 100 red roses, €8 each rose. Generally, people come the 13th on 14 February and the 15th for those who are late.
Because the urchins and oysters are aphrodisiac, it's good if they want to do something later. But we don't sell those things only. We also sell some lobsters and giant shrimps to have a good time, you know? We are now at the American Business School and let's see if love is in the air.
Feel it in my finger, I feel it in my toe.
Celebrate St. Valentine's when I do have a girlfriend.
I've done it in the past. I don't celebrate it every year, but I usually celebrate it when I have a girlfriend, which isn't every year.
Yeah, like actually I think love, you just like celebrate it every day with your boyfriend or girlfriend. You don't celebrate it only for one day, so that's it. Yeah.
I don't celebrate it for two reasons. One is religious reasons. It's not part of our religion, but number two, I think it's a little bit of a question of if you want to tell someone you love them, you can do it all year round.
Love is all around me.
You know, give her some chocolates and some flowers and just go to a restaurant.
Valentine's, when I do have a girlfriend, I do go out for dinner, bring her gifts, not necessarily chocolates and flowers. It just depends on how I feel about the person. And I usually go to cinemas as well. At the same time, have a full-on romantic experience with the lady. Go out to dinner, then go to movie, and then get her some gifts. And, yeah.
Family, the thing is, being Asians, we don't openly express our love to our spouses. It's more about chastity and being a little more modest. So whatever we do it in privacy, in the sense that if we want to go out and all, we don't expose our love. There's no PDAs, public display of affection.
And that's all for today.
Thanks for joining us on our studios with Mj1 News.
For our headlines and for the latest updates, visit our website www.mj1news.com.
Have a wonderful day, Cyril.
You too, Celine.
And see you soon in our next live news edition.